maestro. Biena Veroni was born in Argentina. She began her professional career as a modern flute player, winner of several Argentinian competitions. She has performed as a soloist with a chamber music group. She awarded a scholarship by the Cologne Theatre Foundation. Then she moved to Europe in 1995, dedicating herself to early music studies. She took classes of traverso with Mr. Wilfred Hasselset, and she completed her studies of historical performing practices with Mr. Jesper Christensen. Here we are together, and I would like to make her some questions. Hello, Diana. How are you?
I'm fine, getting ready for the concert tomorrow. We play with Dirk Berner, you probably hear him. And
the next performance you have is going to be next month. When is that going to be?
That's on the 9th of January at 8:15, again in the Bethanien Kloster. And this is going to be the beginning of the chamber music Baroque Serieconcerten in the Bethanien Kloster. And we will perform the second half of Der Brauchbare Virtuoso from Johannes Malhesson with Dirk Berner again.
Okay. And Diana, please tell me, when did you first thought that you was going to take a flute, a very special one, as your future profession?
Well, I work a lot in Argentina with the modern flute, and I did almost whatever it was good. I tried to do it, to practice, and I was studying, and I was doing a lot of concerts. And at one point, it was not enough. It was just getting a little tight for me, and I discovered the traverso, which is this Baroque instrument I'm handling now, and it was a new universe to discover. So I decided to study, and it was so charming that I fall in love, I should say, no?
Tell me, do you feel satisfied with all what you've been achieving? Because for what I see, or for what I've been reading, you've been going a long way. I mean, you could make a lot of your student friends very jealous about. Do you feel satisfied with what you've been done?
I'm very happy, yes. I mean, it's a lot of work and difficulties, of course, because I'm a freelance musician and whatever you have to do is on your hands. But I think it's absolutely satisfactory. I mean, I'm working and I'm basically doing what I want to do.
And you've been performing in Argentina and in many other places, because I see that in Strasbourg they give you 3 stars as a young, promising player. Which other places you've been playing?
Well, this concert in Strasbourg was actually with Dirk. And we're performing Der Brauchbare Virtuoso, which is these sonatas we're going to perform in January again. And it was a very special occasion. We had a very nice audience. And, it's a very special music. So I was very happy that we got this critic.
Do you think Argentina, where you're born, has less public for classic and Baroque music than here in Holland?
Well, of course, in Argentina, Baroque music is something which is still not really developed. There's a lot of culture and there's a lot of music, but in modern instruments and in classic music. No, the Cologne Theatre is absolutely known, it's very popular, and it's always full. But for Baroque music, it's still a little bit poor. No, we need more time, I think. So it's and now I had a chance to go once per year to perform there, and that's absolutely glorious. Of course, it's great, but it's something which is going to take for a while, I think.
Now, this Brauchbare Virtuoso is, do I pronounce it correctly?
It's Der Brauchbare Virtuoso. That's the name of the collection of sonatas we are playing from Johannes Malhesson, which is a great collection from the 18th century. It was achieved in 1717. And Johannes Malhesson is much more known as a musicologue and a theoretician, much more than a composer. I mean, this is a great collection of chamber music sonata. He wrote many operas and oratorios. Unfortunately, many of them are missed because of the war. And but this collection is absolutely fabulous. And the thing is that it's not very often performed. It's rarely performed because, it's kind of special and it requires a lot of work, basically.
Okay. And now, Diana, in between all the classic composer, could you tell me who is your favorite?
Oh, here we are. Probably it's difficult to say Malhesson. Now I will say Malhesson because I'm playing Malhesson. I mean, basically, when you talk about composers, it's about the relationship you can particularly have with a composer. And in this case, I'm very much in Malhesson because what happened is that I feel a lot of confidence with this music, and I can express myself very well. No, it's a very good medium, to express your emotions. So in this case, I would say that I feel very, yeah.
And in one of your interviews, I don't know if you did it in Argentina, I think, you say something like, if the interprete, the player, is intelligent enough, will make you feel. But don't you think that, or how could you explain that through the intelligence you could maybe feel somebody? Don't you have to feel yourself to be emotionally involved with what you're playing to transmit that? Or how could you connect it with intelligence?
Well, intelligence for the performance is necessary to understand and to work on the music, because you need a lot of concentration, a lot of work in the, let's say, in the work. So this is something which is absolutely necessary for the understanding of the material you're going to work on. And about emotion, and that's the next step. No, that's something which is about communication with the music. Basically, it's about how much can you open yourself to work with the music and to understand the music and to get information and to express, to express yourself.
To push it in that way. Mm-hmm. Okay. Diana, I think music is a reflect of the historical period we're living. Do you think it's difficult to... You like popular music, I believe, do you?
Yes, of course, yeah.
And from that point, do you think it's difficult to get out of that world to go into classic music?
Well, actually, I am in a very particular situation right now because I'm just experiment that switch. I'm playing in this period with Lincoln Almada, which is a Paraguayan harp player. And we are exploring in this. I mean, I play with my Baroque flute in the pitch, which is the one which fit with the harp, which is 440. I mean, when we play Baroque music, we play in 415, which is the historical pitch for this music. And we are playing popular music, rhythms from Latin America. And I found that absolutely interesting, and not only absolutely interesting, but very good and fascinating, of course, for my own experience, and also I think it's about, let's say that there's a lot of exchange, I mean, between one language and the other language, so there's nothing wrong in combining that.
No, exactly. These days, everybody dares and allow themselves to go into all different kind of music. There is a less prejudice about if you play or sing one kind of music. But you, how do you come? Because it's a very elitistic music, classic music. How did you choose? Is there in your family, or how did you went into classic music?
Well, basically, the music was sounding in my childhood in my house, because my mother used to play at that time discos, the black ones, and we were listening to these recordings with my brother. My brother is as well a musician, and classical music was in the air, and I love it. And at one point, they sent me to a school for children, and I started to study, and I got involved, and I felt very well. Doing music, basically, there was a very direct approach, and it was my choice, no? And later on, I dedicated to that because I love it, no? It's something I really like a lot.
And you've been playing in very nice places. Now, if you have the possibility, where would you like to play, like a big achievement for yourself?
Well, I'm basically now I'm very happy with the fact that finally I'm playing in Amsterdam. I'm living here since around 2 years, less than 2 years, and it was really on my mind to do a concert, to organize a concert, to try to play here, because I have a lot of friends and I love the town, and there's great Baroque music going on because there's a strong tradition here. And so I have to say that I'm very happy actually about playing in the Botanian Cloister nowadays, no?
And a part of classic music, what do you find in Holland that is not in Argentina? Let's try to think about it.
Well, this structure, of course. There's in the sense that there are many possibilities for artists here to work. Unfortunately, in Latin America, there are so much problems which are so essential that I would think that the culture is something which is behind. It's not a priority nowadays in Latin America, and
culture is not a priority. Why?
Because there are problems with, for instance, about talking. There are problems about
free talking. You mean?
Yeah, and we had so many political problems, no, with the dictatures. So it's a long way, and I think our countries in general, Latin America, is one step behind, no. And culture is something which is, besides that there are great artists in the world, which come from Latin America in general, from all over the world, is that's very astonishing. But they are actually looking for other places because they cannot develop themselves there. Unfortunately, there is no space for that.
So is it like culture become a second priority in develop the whole society?
Yeah, particularly in Latin America, I think so, because there are essential things which are not sold.
Tell me about those essential things, please.
Well, education. Education is in Argentina is just destroyed. No, the elementary school, the poorness. Is drugs, corruption. There's so many things which has to be solved. Culture is something which is the next, and unfortunately, it's a big chain of betrayals. No, there's one thing goes in one direction, another thing goes in another direction. Unfortunately, there's no organization for that.
Chaos, maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos.
Okay. And, all right, let's go on talking about our Latin American situations. We went from capitalism into imperialism. Who do you think is dominating Argentina or Latin America?
Capitalism, of course.
From where?
Well, we are dependent on the United States, no, because we have to give them back all this money, no, that's clear. But also because the left in general, especially in Argentina, was so split that unfortunately there was no force to contain that, no, to stop that. So I have a lot of hope and faith now with the elections we just had in Argentina, because Alianza now took over the power, and I hope it works. I really have a lot of expectations.
I don't know much about the Argentinian politics, but what is the color of this Alianza, and do you know maybe what are they proposing?
Concretely, Alianza is a coalition of all these left parties which were completely split before in the last elections. And the great achievement, the great challenge of this Alianza is that nowadays they got a certain representation. That's why they were able to be the winners, no? To take up over the power, no? It's the representation of the left, basically. And they were finally smart enough to commute their forces into one direction instead of, spreading it all over the place. So,
do you think it's going to be positive for Argentina if they get a little more left side government?
Yes, I'm completely sure about that. Yeah.
Well, and about hope and those things, the question I'm doing these days is, you know that here in Amsterdam we have un escudo de armas, a weapon van Amsterdam, and there you read 3 words: heilhaftig, vastberaden, and barmhartig. That means heroísmo, perseverancia, y compasión. And because we are in front of a new millennium, I wonder, or if you could give me 3 words, propose me 3 words to change the weapon van Amsterdam.
Well, perseverance is a very good word. I mean, if you take it in a good sense, I think we shouldn't change that one.
If you are a musician also.
Yeah, because I think it's a very good tool. So perseverance, I think, is a very good one. So we should keep it. And hope and fun. I should add fun to that. Love, maybe, but fun and joy. No, joy. This is the one which is missed, I think.
So, those are the 3 words we could put.
Yes, maybe about hope. We could state that Malhesson, in one of his books, speaks of the dance of a courante, that it does express the sweet hope. And maybe we can propose to play one courante from the virtuoso.
Sweet hope. Well, please do that.
Va.
And you play together. What's your name?
My name is Dirk Börner, and I met Diana in the School of Music in Basel, the Schola Cantorum Basiliensis, where we started together to study Malhesson.
So how long are you together already?
I think we are playing now for about 3 years together.
And you are not a couple, are you? You are only professional together. And do you live here in Holland also?
No, I don't live in Holland. I live in Strasbourg in France.
Oh, that's very nice. And tell me, how is your experience playing in Holland? Do you like it? You've been playing here before, right?
I just played one time here in Holland, and I liked it a lot. We played together with Diana.
What's the difference between here and French?
I don't know whether there is really a difference in the public or in the.
Do you think there is more people who likes Baroque and music?
I'm not sure, because now in France Baroque music is quite loved, so there are a lot of people who coming to the concerts. So it is true that it starts mainly here in Holland, but now I think it's the same level of enthusiasm for this kind of music.
Do you think this has to do with the fact that we are passing a very confusing time and people is going back to their roots and that kind of thing, or how could you explain it?
And this love for old music, I think it comes mainly from the fact that actually we have no really new music which everybody can understand and everybody can communicate with. Of course, I don't speak of pop music or jazz music, but let's say the classical modern music becomes with something which is not very easy to understand for everybody. So people are more interested in this ancient music. Maybe it's one reason of it.
What do you think about this modern music?
Of this classical modern music?
No. I'm thinking about popular modern music, like this kind of techno and house and that.
Maybe with the exception of techno music, which I really don't understand and I really don't like. But pop music and jazz music, I'm listening all the time, and it is for me.
Okay, and please, you know about music. I'm wrong when I say that it's a little monotone, that music?
Techno music? Yes, for me it's completely monotone.
How can you describe monotone?
I mean, there's no variety of rhythm, no variety of changing of harmonies, nothing really alive. For me, it's completely death. It's completely despair, maybe.
Despair. That's interesting. But myself, I think there is no feeling, and that's why it makes me so bothered, and I cannot enjoy that. Maybe that have to do with what you say, no soul or something?
Yes, it's a completely lack of soul, and I don't know from what it comes, but I think it's quite typical for our time, this lack of soul, no?
And it's very mechanical also, right? But I insist on the question monotone. If I try to understand it by what the words are saying, is a one tone, but it does not two, because I hear many tones in that music. Tell me, I mean, you know about music, so please illuminate me.
But for instance, if we speak of rhythm in the Baroque music, a lot of theorians explain that the music, it's a little bit like the heart, no? The rhythm is very regular and very strict, and when sometimes there happen special things, you become very joyful, you become very sad, and then also your heart is reacting. No, the pulse is going quicker and is going slowly because you are affected with the thing which was happening. And in this techno music, I have to say I'm not a specialist, but what I was listening, the rhythm is all the time like a machine, so never it stops. And not only the rhythm never stops, but all the voices are together very vertically. There's absolutely no independence, and so all which I feel is a sign of life, it is completely absent.